We can ask the first question here.
All right, Mike, go ahead.
Want to get going. And how's the trip going so far for you, Mike? You've had a chance to have your first practice. Why don't you, if you could, please detail how things are going for your squad down here in Loveland.
Well, first of all, the travel's been easy, and that was a real smooth ride out here. The setup here in Loveland and the people have been fantastic. We just got done with our skate after really being, I'm going to say quarantine, but I'm going to say close to it over the last 2 days. And it's been real good up till this point. The hotel for the guys and really the protocol from everybody, and fantastic. So it's been a good preparation. Today was a good day on the ice, and really excited about what's in front of us.
Mike Grimm, go ahead.
Coach, as you now dive more into this, what do you see from Quinnipiac for tomorrow?
Well, you see a team that, again, I think Rand has proved over the lengthy time that he's been there that they're a very detailed team. Structurally real sound. They defend. They're a little unique in the 1-1-3 that they use, whether that's in the neutral zone or whether that's on a late forecheck when you're coming out with a setup breakout. But they come out as clean as a group of five as we've seen this year. That's one. Two, I think special teams speaks volumes. Their power play, that group of forwards that they have up front, as well as the two defensemen on the back end, drive them offensively. And so we're going to have to be disciplined, stay out of the box. And then when we do happen to have to kill a penalty, we're going to have to be on point because the power play is real good. Penalty kill numbers are good. And then obviously everything runs through the goaltender. He's a guy that has been there for a while, has been their backbone. And so they present a difficult opponent, but one I think that's going to ask you to play a real honest game. So our puck management is going to be real important.
Kevin, go ahead.
Hey, Mike. I know that given the situation, everyone is kind of on pins and needles out there with all the COVID stuff. And I just wanted to ask, do you think the guys are getting to enjoy the experience? And is that something that you're really stressing, even despite, the tough situation?
I think we have to, all the coaches and administrations that have supported their groups, our group, to this point, you're trying to survive the day, then you're trying to survive the week, just so you have an opportunity to compete. And that can be a very stressful situation. And I wouldn't be telling you the truth is every time we go in and we get tested while we're here, that there's not a little bit of anxiety in that room until all the tests come back and we're clean. Especially with what you're seeing right now, with what you saw with Notre Dame and what I'm hearing with another team, Michigan. We just got off the ice, so I don't know exactly what's happened there, but we're trying to go day by day. Yes, stressing the idea you've got to, when you go through a season the way that we've gone through in other college hockey teams and other athletes in college, the uncertainty is difficult to get through. So you better enjoy it. That's what we're doing. The guys having a good time since they've been out here. Today was very upbeat because when you take the game away from the players, they get a little ordinary. So they're in a lot better mood today after being on the rink.
Steve, Mike. Go ahead, Jason.
Hi, Mike. A lot has been made nationally this week just about you guys still looking for your first win in the NCAA tournament. How do you guys kind of manage that throughout the week? Do you address it at all, or how does that sit with the players?
Yeah, we address it. We've got a group of seniors that have been through a couple of these, and we discuss what we learned from it. Going through my coaching career, my playing career was done a long time ago. My coaching career, I've learned a lot from not getting to the top and not winning big games and having those opportunities, which we have in front of us. You've got to own your past and dictate your future. And that's what we've talked about. The ones that haven't, the guys that haven't gone through those 6 losses, they really don't know a lot about it. And so we're trying to own what we do every day. That's what we've talked about. We're looking forward to the opportunity to try and win a game on Saturday against a very accomplished and a very good Quinnipiac team. And that's really been our focus.
Mike, back to you.
Coach, is a sheet of ice a sheet of ice, or is there a benefit to having your guys on this rink, in this building, getting ready for tomorrow?
It's a sheet of ice is a sheet of ice, but as long as what I've found with our team, any team, as long as it's the same for you that it is for me, we'll go play. And it's nice for us to go out and be able to, not have our initial blades touching the ice in an NCAA game where it's one and done. To be able to have an opportunity to go out and play in the environment a little bit, I think just makes everybody else a bit more comfortable. And so, to answer that question, I think that we're excited about going out, being able to get on the ice, because they've pretty much been close to quarantine for a day and a half, almost 2 days. So the guys getting back on it and being able to touch that ice one time before they get out and play, I think is important.
Jason, go ahead.
Coach, what are some of the biggest things you guys have tried to work on or address since the Northern game last week?
Trying to get back to our identity, and I don't want to take anything away from Northern because they came in and put it to us. Just really going back to try and create what our identity is early. And that is just trying to get pucks back behind their defensemen and make them defend, play a heavy game, and make sure we try and stay out of the box. I think Quinnipiac's power play is very, very, let's just say, resilient. They find different ways to score. So we've got to go out and kind of dictate what we're going to do. So we're focused really on trying to get back on top of people and making sure they have to go through us on multiple layers, getting into our end, and manage pucks a little bit better. And then be better offensively. Be heavier below the dots, take more pucks to the net, win second and third battles. Those are the things that we addressed this week, and hopefully that's put us in a really good mindset going into tomorrow.
Do we have any more questions for Coach? Okay, thanks very much for the time, Mike.
Thanks, fellas.
Coach, you talked a lot about preparation following the loss against St. Lawrence. What has been your top priority in preparation for Saturday's game?
That's a great question. I mean, it's always hard to, get ready for any NCAA tournament. Certainly, even I think more difficult after, the loss that we just went through. But our focal point was this week was just, get back to good habits. I thought we had a great week of practice. We couldn't practice yesterday because of the NCAA quarantine protocol, which is probably a good thing to have in place. So that was a little different. We did practice today. We had a great week of practice. The guys were into it. They played hard. They worked hard. And I was pretty happy with the week.
Steven, go ahead.
Ren, just talk about, this is the first time this season that you guys have actually got on a plane, traveled somewhere, and have really had to stay out of the ECAC realm of travel. What has that been like so far in your experience this week?
Well, it didn't get off to a good start. We had a charter, and we had a 7-hour delay with the charter. And it's just the whole thing with the pandemic. It's a crazy story, but the little terminal where we're at was so small. They didn't want us in there, and I didn't want to go in there with our guys because of COVID. So we spent 5.5 hours in a parking lot, having to order food there. It was a little crazy. The guys did a great job. We had soccer ball and football, and so it was some good team bonding. But not a great start to the day. It was a long day. But again, the boys all handled it well. It's been I think a good team bonding experience. It's been different this year with COVID and in your pods, and you can't do this and you can't do that. So, maybe in the long run, it's gonna work. Be a blessing in disguise for us.
Peter, back to you, and then Greg after him.
How has Bongiovanni looked since returning to the lineup?
Well, he had the nice goal against St. Lawrence. He's certainly not at 100%. I can't give you an exact percentage of what he's at, but he's just a great hockey player. He's obviously offensively, he finds ways to score goals and make plays. Really good defensive left wing. He's one of our captains, so we're happy to have him back. I wish he was closer to 100%, but we got to be excited just to have him in the lineup, and he's a presence for us.
Greg, go ahead.
Coach, can you hear me?
I can, yes.
Hi, welcome back out west. First of all,
Thank you.
excited to see it. Excited to see at the game tomorrow. Wanted to ask you about facing Dryden McKay. Has that been an interesting pre-scout for you guys, seeing as he's shown so little holes this year?
I mean, yeah, I mean, his numbers are unbelievable. He's really had a great year. Obviously, he had a little slip in the Northern Michigan game and let him some goals he probably wants to have back. But I've watched a bunch of tape on him. We talked about his team. I like the way he plays. I mean, he's aggressive. He challenges, sometimes over challenges. And that's, we got to find ways to get pucks to the net. And if he's going to over challenge, banging some rebounds on him, or I think probably the biggest thing is take away his eyes and make him play a little bit deeper. But I haven't seen a lot of them because we've never played at Minnesota State before, but I've been really impressed watching him on tape.
As a follow-up, he doesn't face a lot of shots on a nightly basis. Is quantity over quality something you stressed?
No, I mean, I think you want to have a mix of both. You got to kind of take what you get. If there's some bodies in front and there's some traffic, let's get a puck to the net and see if we can cause some chaos. And at the same point, if you can make a play and get a better scoring chance, we want to do that too. So, we don't stress either with any goalie or any team play. In the end, we want to fit our identity, and if we do that, we'll get rewarded.
Steven, go ahead.
Ran again, both teams top 5 in faceoffs, top 5 in power play this season. How important are those two aspects of this game on Saturday? Yeah,
it's gonna be a battle on the faceoff dot. I don't know if we're 1 or 2 right now. I'm not sure where we are. I know they're 3. So it's a big part of the game. You want to have puck possession. I think it's really helped us this year with starting from a drop and having the puck a lot. I think it's a big part of hockey. It's not everything, but it certainly helps us. So I've watched them a lot on tape. I mean, Hastings is a great coach. He does a great job, and he's got his team prepared, and they have good face-off intensity. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. Certainly, Odin for us is number 1 in the country in face-offs, or at least he was. I haven't checked again that lately. Maybe he's 2. But he's a big weapon for us, and hopefully, I'm sure he'll be good tomorrow.
Peter, back to you.
No true lethal scorer on their team. How do you prepare your defensive scheme for a team that just will score in depth?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree with that statement, no lethal score. I mean, they're good. I mean, they're just across the board. They've got their top 2 lines are excellent. And then I can see why they've had the season they've had. Their 3rd and 4th line's really good. They got 6 good D. They got the goalie. I mean, it's a very well-constructed team. They're older. I believe they were the oldest team in college hockey. I mean, they're veterans, they're experienced, and just tons of talent throughout. They really don't have a weakness. So it's a good hockey team. I mean, I think if they don't have the depth that they have, maybe Hasty has to go 3 lines some nights, and you see more, those first, second line guys have higher point totals. But those kids are good. There's some high-end guys there that are going to go on and play pro hockey.
Anthony, go ahead.
Hey, Rand. Obviously, you guys have been dealing with COVID throughout the whole season. Now with the NCAA tournament, how have you guys and how have the team been impacted by certain protocols and certain schedules that you guys have to follow due to COVID?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I could spend about 4 hours talking about COVID protocols and how you deal with it and how we've tried to deal with it. And I mean, it's just, you gotta adapt. We kept telling our guys, you got to adapt to different things, and we got to coach a different way, and we got to do things differently, make sacrifices as we go along. And the big thing that I've really focused on this year is the 2 things. One is don't let the kids get COVID. That's obviously, goes without saying. And I think 2 is, be careful of the contact tracing. Not just your players, but your coaches too. You can't meet as a staff. You gotta go home and you gotta log on a Zoom and you gotta do it that way. Or we've had times where we've all been in our offices and we'll FaceTime. So there's just a lot of little things you really got to think about the contact tracing, because the kid, whoever gets COVID, they're done anyways for their 10 days, but who are they going to take with them? I think that's the big thing that you really have to focus on is you're going to lose a kid here or there, but don't lose your entire team to that.
Steven?
Brandon, watching both you guys and Minnesota State, both very quick teams, how comfortable are you if this game turns into some end-to-end hockey?
I mean, I think we're good in that situation. I think, we don't want to do that the whole game, and we want to make sure we have layers against Minnesota State, whether it's on our forecheck with our F3 or play a good sound neutral zone. It's a very good hockey team. Probably the best thing they do is transition. So we need to take that away a little bit, and I think probably more than anything to take away their transition is just puck management on our part. We can't be turning pucks over. That's been a problem from time to time this year where we just get too cute and try to make cute plays in the neutral zone or cute plays out of the D zone, and sometimes cute doesn't win hockey games. So we also don't want to panic with the puck and just keep throwing it away and throwing it away. So you got to find that kind of middle ground. I think that's going to be really important. Puck management is going to be a big part of the game tomorrow.
All right. Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, Coach, just kind of what are some of your thoughts on the Omaha matchup heading into tomorrow?
Well, you get a draw, and it's kind of it's a different year because none of us have had, we had Arizona State, so none of us have had out of conference play, even teams in, other teams they might have played. So, we're all going to be very unfamiliar with each other. You're just watching film. They're a big, heavy team, well coached, got good depth at their forwards, good goaltending. They're going to be physical. It's going to be a dogfight. I mean, we're just preparing for the things we have to do. We believe to have success, and as you saw in today's game, and I've lived on every spectrum there is in this tournament. You can't beat yourself. You've got to be ready to go. You need strong goaltending, and you want to get off to a good start in the first period, and that's what we're concentrating on right now.
Patterson, name.
Hi, Coach. You touched on it just a second. Are you going to dwell on a number 1 seed getting beat by a number 4 seed today, or even talk about that?
Not going to dwell on it. I last week they heard I've been a 1 and got beat by 16, and I've been a 16 and beat a 1. I've been part of both of it. So all that matters is how you're playing. And I think in the last 10 years, I'll just say 10 years. How many times does a 4 seed beat a 1? I mean, Jess, you probably already have it down. I mean, it's a pretty high percentage. So that's the parity in college hockey. We just right now are concentrating on maybe a great lesson for our guys. How do you be prepared to play? And we're concentrating on right now, our focus.
Randy, go ahead.
Yeah, Bob, how'd your team look today in practice? They seem ready for what you have going tomorrow?
I thought we had great job today, Randy. We all had a day off yesterday, all the teams that were here. You get back out there. I think they're excited just to get on the ice and skate. You got to adjust to the altitude. And that happens in a couple of days. The guys are going to be great with it. And we were sharp, we were crisp, and we had a little snarl in practice too. So it was good.
Bob, when you took this job 3 years ago, was this the type of team you envisioned you'd be taking to the tournament, getting there with the type of team with everything as you have?
I mean, yeah, no, I don't know if I don't that set on the team the way you wanted. You start recruiting the players that gravitate toward us. Our identity and the players that we had some good players here when I got here, and they're still sprinkled throughout the lineup. We were real fortunate that Jack LaFontaine ended up with us. We needed to solidify our goaltending. We needed to really get, Randy, we needed to really kind of get a gopher decor, much more mobile decor. I feel we're moving in the right direction. Are we there yet? I don't know, but we're here. And I like our team. I can tell you that.
Oh, sorry, I'm not sure if you called me or not because it was cutting in and out. Coach, I'm wondering, I know elevation is the same for all four teams here, but I'm wondering if having to come a day early for the COVID testing is, does it physically help the players get acclimated?
Yeah, all the year, I talked about it last week, all the years in the WCHA, there were times I know playoffs, once we came out here on a Wednesday to get ready for Friday. And when you came out, whether CC or Denver, by the Saturday, the players would tell you they're feeling better. So I'm going to go with it, but it's going to be the same for all four teams.
Let's go Jordan and then Jess after him.
And Bob, I know it's something you've touched on the last couple of questions, but this will be the 5th time Omaha has played out in the state of Colorado this year with the altitude. Do you expect it to be much of a difference, or just kind of a same old type of thing?
I'm not sure where you're going with same old, but I think that both teams and both coaches are going to go in anticipating both teams are going to be playing their best hockey. But I can only control how, hopefully I've got some say with our players and how we're ready to go and the attention to detail we have. And that is 100% of our focus on our staff is our team and how we're ready to go. And so far we had I really like the fact that our tournament in the Big Ten was 10 days ago. We got to settle in. We just didn't play last week and had to turn around and get out here. So I think we're in a good spot. As far as Omaha, you'd have to get that from them.
I'll just go. But to answer your earlier questions, number 4 seeds in the last 6 years have now 10 wins and 11 losses in the first round. So almost 500.
You broke up, Jess. I didn't hear it.
Number 4 seeds in the last 6 years after today have 10 wins and 11 losses. So they're 1 game under 500. So, it's a coin flip essentially in the first round. I wanted to ask you personally, sitting in front of that NCAA banner, we've all seen you do that years with the Huskies. In fact, it was 11 years ago today that you got your first NCAA tournament win in double overtime against Northern Michigan. For you personally, does it kind of feel like you're back where you belong, coaching games in late March with a team?
Yeah, coach this year, and maybe it's because I'm getting a little older, and I loved what Jerry York said when about it's all about the next game and whoever you're playing. And this is my 14th NCAA tournament, counting assistant coach and head coach, and what happens as you get older in life, the scars are what you remember. The great wins, you don't remember those, but the scars you remind. I got guys like Jess that want to remind me of the scars. It had nothing to do with these players. Just prepare our team for their next game. And we're not really talking about the tournament. We're talking about Omaha. We're talking about we're in Colorado. It's a great hotel. It's a great setup here. It's awesome out here. And I think this is a great spot for a region. We're just really just keeping it. I'm trying to think of the right word for you. We didn't make a big deal out of it. We made it our next series, and we got to punch the clock and go back to work.
I have one if that's what you were asking. For a big part of the year, you guys automatically went out into the lead. The last month or so, you've been able to turn around some early deficits into wins. What gives you the most confidence in your club should you fall behind early in one of these games?
Well, I think the biggest thing I can tell you is, if our whole staff was sitting in here, we really like this group of guys. And the reason we didn't fall down a lot is because we had to lead a lot. And so that was great. And I wish I could script that and write that on the board. So we didn't fall behind very often. So when we lost a couple of those games, that was the story. We've changed that now in the tournament where we came back. we're capable of coming back if we fall down. We've got good depth, good balance, good special teams. It would sure be scripted nice not to, but we're a good hockey team, and it's a 60-minute game. And I think our guys, I think it gave them this last 10 days ago, 12 days ago, went through that tournament, some belief that, you know what, they can do it. And every team has to do it through the course of the season. We just waited the last weekend of our tournament to do it. So, you know, kind of a long-winded answer. We like our team. We're capable of doing a lot of good things out there.
Coach, how do your guys stay out of the penalty box so much?
Well, it's just an emphasis, you know, it's an emphasis that I really believe in, and we preach it, and we coach it, we preach it, we discipline it, that, you know, college hockey, because of the pairwise of normal years, and the importance of, and this, I think it's one of the beauties of college hockey, is how important every series is during the regular season. You know, the opening series of the year could be the one that you don't get in the tournament on. And the computer doesn't know, the computer doesn't differentiate week one from the last week. And discipline, and, you know, you go into the box, you can't take penalties. You can't take unnecessary penalties. I don't care what league you're in, you have to be disciplined. I coached junior hockey for many years. It really didn't become important until the playoffs. In college hockey, I think discipline is one of the key components to winning hockey games and winning the special teams battle. And the best way you can do that is be a disciplined team. And our guys have always bought into that. And we're fortunate, and I think it helps us. I believe it does.
All right. Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it, everyone.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
A couple players on your moments. Okay, we got Omaha coach Mike Gabinet here. You guys can just fire away with questions.
Coach, I'll start with the obvious with you see what happened with Notre Dame, Michigan today. Did you guys get through that initial testing period fine, and how have the first couple of days been for you?
Yep. So far, so good. Yeah, it's been pretty regimented here with being just in the hotel. We're definitely in our own little bubble, that's for sure, and just doing everything we can to stay healthy.
How'd practice go today, Coach?
That was good. Nice to get out there. We hadn't practiced since Wednesday morning, so it feels like a long time. So definitely nice to get moving out there and get used to the ice, just get used to the altitude and get a sweat going here a little bit there. So you can tell the guys were sucking air a little bit and getting used to skating again and moving again. So definitely nice to get that first practice out of the way in a new environment.
You got a lot of guys have never done this before. You worry about the nerves for this game?
I don't think so. Again, I think we got to draw on a little bit of the NCHC tournament and getting some experience there with some postseason play. And, I'm sure they're going to be there, but, at the end of the day, you got to do one or two things that are going to help you get into the game and help you get engaged and just focus on, the present moment. So that's what we're talking to our guys about. And I think having a skate here and just get on ice tomorrow morning before the game and just kind of getting moving, I think will help us out as well.
Coach, I'll ask you something I asked Coach Motzko earlier, but this is the fifth time you guys have played out in the state of Colorado this year. How much of a factor do you think the altitude's going to be, if at all, and is that an advantage for you guys at all?
So we're used to being tired out here. I guess that'll help us a little bit. And so, we've experienced, just it takes a while to catch your breath. You gotta watch your shifts early in the game. You gotta try to manage the players' ice a little bit early in the game. I find that's one of the best ways to be proactive about it if you can early in that game to keep their minutes a little bit more spread out and keep the shift length a little bit shorter. But at the end of the day, it's the same for both teams.
Coach, if you would, for our Minnesota radio listeners, could you give us like an elevator speech on your team, what we can expect and how you think they're playing going into the tournament?
I think one of the things we've been strong at all season is just our consistent play and our team play. Again, I said that for kind of day one. You know, we have some high-end players, but we're definitely a team that plays as a team, and we need everybody going. We need all 12 forwards going, 7 defensemen, and our goaltending working together towards a common goal. And I think that's when we're most effective, is when everybody's engaged in the game and playing well. So that's what we're looking to bring here on Saturday night.
Coach, Minnesota takes very few penalties. Have you talked to the team at all about really focusing on trying to stay out of the penalty box?
Absolutely. That's a big focus for us, you know, especially keeping our stick on the ice and keeping our free hand disengaged on the opposition and just playing a smart, hard game. And that's something we've definitely been preaching for the last couple of weeks here. And you know, anytime you give another team a power play, it's to their advantage. And we want opportunities by a good Minnesota team.
Do you have a feel at all for how the game might be called, or is that just a crapshoot?
Yeah, I just saw that first one against with Bemidji and Wisconsin. There seemed to be a fair number of penalties, but you know, we'll see as the tournament goes on. Usually at this time of the year, the penalties decrease a little bit, but you never know with depending who you have for officiating or what their standards are. And, but at the end of the day, it's up to us to be disciplined and to manage our sticks and our awareness of the situation and to make sure we stay out of the penalty box.
I know all week we've talked about kind of that embracing the moment mentality that you've been telling the group, but to finally be there, just what's it like around the group the last couple of days?
Oh, it's been exciting. Again, we're in our own little bubble, so we're used to that. This all season long, but again, there's a great energy about the group. I know guys are excited to be here, but also have a business-like attitude of they want to accomplish something while we're here. And so it's been impressive to just see our team grow this season and to make it to the NCAA tournament. And we're looking forward to representing ourselves, our program and university well on Saturday night.
Any more questions?
Coach, you mentioned Bemidji. How's it make you feel that a number 4 seed knocked off a number 1 today?
Yeah, well, you know what, I had, if you know, not that I did a bracket, but you know, if you had asked me before the game, I thought they had a good opportunity against Wisconsin. I thought they were a very structured team and they don't give a lot of ice up for free and you know, they're a good team. So again, I think at this stage in 2021 and in today's college hockey game, there's so much parity and every team's pretty good. So, you know, in one game situation, it can be anybody's night, and it was their afternoon, I guess, today. Awesome. Okay, thanks.